So we got to talk about this story that just came out. I don't know when it came out. I just saw it yesterday. Another, I don't even know how I want to word this, but so there was in Philadelphia there was a situation where you had one of these pathetic, dickless, cowardly cops um, use their position so that they could kill somebody. Um, Shot a 12-year-old kid. Apparently, shot him in the back, um, and the police officer was fired and charged very quickly, and rightfully so. That should have happened. But the reason that this story stood out to me is because this it doesn't actually mirror. It's just similar. It's similar to a story that happened a few years ago, maybe several years ago now. Um, you had a 12-year-old child who was playing in a park, and somebody called the cops and placed a false report saying that the 12-year-old child had a real gun. The police showed up, got out of the car immediately, and executed the child. The child was in a park playing in the middle of the day by himself with a toy, not a modified toy of any kind, just a regular toy that's sold in stores. Yet the police officer um, ignored part of the false report that let them know that it may not be a real gun. He ignored that. He literally parked the car, jumped out, and fired his weapon. That's exactly how it played out. He parked the car, jumped out, and shot at the child and killed him. He didn't get out and look to see what was going on. He didn't ask any questions. He just got out. He knew that this was an opportunity he could take to murder a child, to murder somebody. Executed this child who was 12 years old. The police officer was never fired for it. He was never charged for it. I believe, I may be mistaken, and I'm not going to go back and do research anymore because it really doesn't fucking matter. Um, I believe he was given time off with pay, which to me is a reward. It's like a paid vacation, if that is if that is what happened. So I don't know if he got time off with pay, but I believe he did get time off with pay, which is like a reward. But either way, he wasn't charged for a crime, and he wasn't even fired. He was not punished in any way for executing a child in the way that I just described at all. And again, there was a child in the middle of the day in a park playing. The police officer got a false report that he decided to ignore, or he decided to ignore portions of the report. He drove to the scene, parked the car, jumped out, and shot and killed the child immediately. No questions asked, no nothing. Now we have this new story that came out. And again, as I said earlier, the police officer was fired and it has been charged already. He's going to be going to trial soon. Um, but there's some differences in this case. So, in the first case that I mentioned, the 12-year-old child that was playing in the park, he was black and the police officer was white. Um, and so that's why the outcome that we got happened that way. In this story, the 12-year-old child is white and the police officer is black. His name is Mendoza, but he's black. They can look at him. He's a black person has a Hispanic name. He's raised probably Dominican or something like that. But he's black. So this police officer is black and this 12-year-old child is white. And so the police officer for killing this 12-year-old child, well, you're going to be punished. It kind of reminds me of the Mohammed Noor Justine Diamond story, where the police officer is black and the victim is white. And so the police officer gets fired and charged and gets convicted and gets 12 years in prison. When you have all these white cops who are executing people and they're not even getting fired from their jobs, um, let alone charged. It reminds me of that case. So you have a black cop here kills a 12-year-old child, and when a black cop kills a white child, or any cop kills a white child, well, that's no questions asked. It's very easy. It's no problem. We can easily fire you. We don't need to wait months and months and months and months. We don't hide footage. We don't have police officers who don't know what happened or who don't give proper testimony. We don't have to deal with any of that stuff. We don't have to worry about a grand jury or figure out how we're going to charge this cop. There's none of that shit. It is practically immediate. This cop was fired almost immediately, charged almost immediately. The police officers that were there gladly testified against him and gave the actual account. Um, Everything just went in the favor of this 12-year-old child who was shot. And one part of the story that's really disturbing is, so in most of these cases, the police officers say, "I'm afraid, I feared for my life." The suspect was being belligerent, or they were being disrespectful, or they were in the process of committing a crime, in the act of committing a crime rather. And I was scared for my life. Oh God, please help me! My balls are shivering and shrinking as we speak. And everyone jumps on board and says, well, this person shouldn't have been committing a crime. They shouldn't have been doing this. They shouldn't have been doing that, implying that, well, the victim probably deserved what happened to them because they are black. Basically, that's really what's being said. But in this case, this 12-year-old child not only had a real gun in his hand, he shot at the cops, shot into the cop car. He shot at the cops, shot into the cop car, but there's no mention of, well, this kid is a criminal and he committed a crime. He was in the act of committing a crime. The cop feared for his life. The cop had to save people. The cop was just doing his job, protecting the neighborhood, protecting his partners, protecting himself. None of that was involved. There was no blue wall of silence where the police are backing this guy because he's a fellow officer and he's helping them. No, none of that stuff. This 12-year-old white child fired at the police, shot into the car. And then this shit is so fucking disturbing and it really fucking pisses me off. I'm actually gonna read some of the article because just even the fucking people that write the articles go out of their way to try and work to help the child. Now, normally I would say, a child was shot by a cop. The cop deserves it. But number one, that doesn't happen for black children. It's not done for black children. So I ain't going to do it for white children. That's number one. Number two, this fucking kid actually did shoot at the cops. He actually tried to murder the cops himself. So I'm going to read this. I'm going to read some of it and just point out. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm not going to read even a lot of it. But I'm just going to read. I should have highlighted this. So, for instance, in the article, and this is an article, I think this was CNN. In the article, it's explaining what happened. And then it describes the 12-year-old Thomas, TJ. I'm just going to read that. It says the police officer was one of four plainclothes officers inside an unmarked police car on the evening of March 1st. March 1st. So this guy was fired and charged with less than 2 months. All right, evening of March 1st, that when they pulled up to 12-year-old Thomas TJ Sidero and a 17-year-old identified as NK, Krasner said. TJ, the 12-year-old, then likely, and that's in quotes, TJ likely fired at the vehicle and a bullet entered the rear window. So why is it, if this was a black child, there would have been the black child likely fired at the vehicle. It would have just said, what the fuck happened? The black child fired at the vehicle. That's what it would have said. And these people go out of their way to try to handle these fucking white criminals with kid gloves. The last thing, or the second thing that I saw, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, is they're going on to describe it. It says immediately afterward, it's talking about the when the police officer had shot the child. It says immediately after the shooting, basically, Mendoza directed another officer to the spot where the boy had thrown the gun, which was found 40 feet away. The DA said, thus, when Officer Mendoza fired the third and fatal shot, he knew the 12-year-old, 5-foot-tall, 111-pound Thomas Sidero no longer had a gun and no ability to harm him. They go out of their way to protect this person, this child, who was shooting at the police officers. Again, normally I would say, you know what, he's a 12-year-old child, but this shit isn't done for black children. It's not done for them. It's only done for white people. White people have have access to the ability to be protected. They have access to news media, million dollar news organizations going out of their way to provide cover and to protect them by using certain wording, by labeling things certain ways, by hiding certain things, not mentioning certain things, or mentioning certain things that will help the child, help the white victim, white criminal, white suspect, whatever. And they have all of these things done for them. And this shit is unbelievably disgusting. A black child who is playing in a park gets executed for no reason, and the cop doesn't get punished at all. He doesn't even get fired. According to them, a police officer executing a black child, that's just part of the job. He didn't do anything wrong, so he shouldn't be fired because that's part of his job, killing innocent black children. Juxtapose that to this fucking story. Black police officer kills a white person, a white child who was trying to kill him. The black officer fights back and is victorious, or is successful in defending himself from this white criminal who shot at him and shot at other police. Oh no, you're not only you fired, you're going to jail, nigga. And again, it reminds me of the Justine Diamond Muhammad Noir story. Again, if we think about Tamir Rice's 12-year-old child executed while playing in a park, bright sunny day, police officer had full visibility, knew exactly what was going on, was even told in the 911 call that the person may just be the thing they have may just be a toy. Cop wasn't even punished for that. The Justine Diamond Muhammad Noir situation, the police officer was called to a very dangerous part of town. It's in the middle of the night. They're in a fucking alley in the dark. Somebody comes up from behind them to their car. The police officer, like a coward, fires his weapon and kills this poor woman. And the police officer, no questions asked. Nope, there's no reason you should have feared for your life. I don't care if you were in a dark alley in a dangerous part of town in the middle of the night and someone snuck up on you or came upon you from behind in this dark alley. You should have had no fear. You're fired and you're going to go to jail, and we're going to give you 12 years in prison. I don't make as much videos anymore because I'm really sick and tired of just people in general. And I'm kind of disgusted by humanity. I've been disgusted by humanity since I was in my my early 20s. But it's getting to the point now where I hate people. People are fucking stupid and they're pieces of shit and they're trash. And they're lazy and they're fucking pathetic. So I don't make too many of these videos anymore. I make some of them because, you may reach a handful of people and you never know, and I ain't got nothing better to do, so why the fuck not? But I don't make them too much because I'm sick and tired of just the pathetic stupidity and the laziness and the gutless the gutless ignorance of a lot of people. Black people, if you are not fucking enraged by this kind of shit, then you basically deserve all the shit that happens to you. I am sick and tired of this shit happening and black people sitting back and complaining, oh man, this is so bad. It's bad in this country. Yeah, you dumb fuck. Of course it's fucking bad. You know it's bad. We've known it's been bad for a long time. Get off your fucking dick and do something about it. And what I mean by do something about it is I'm not advocating any violence or any war, or any attacks like that. I'm telling people, get the fuck up and change how you're doing things. At least change how you're doing things. Do something. Happens over and over again where black people are targeted and then the people that target them are not punished. But when it's roles are reversed and white people are targeted, the country shows you, well, we hate you niggers. We don't like you. We want bad things to happen to you, and we will continue to do bad things to you. But when it happens to a white person, well, we're going to go out of our way to protect those people and to give them the justice they need, because that's who we are as a white society. We don't like you niggers and we hate you. They tell you that every fucking day in all these different actions that they take. And you guys sit back and ignore it like stupid, cocksucking lemmings. You gotta do something about it. I'm gonna say it again. If you want some change, you have to stop shopping. Stop buying things. Stop giving your fucking money to these white organizations and white corporations and businesses. These people fund the politicians and the government. They fund and back these people that create these policies and laws. They fund these police unions. They fund the police. They work to make sure that if you come out with a message that we need to change how policing is done in this country, they fund and back organizations that erase your message and confuse your message and jumble up your message. They're funding all of this. All the bad shit that's happening to you is happening because rich white people who own these corporations and businesses that you finance, they go out there and they create the policies and the laws that run and dictate your life. If you want to get their attention, you have to stop giving them the fucking money that they use to continue this type of shit. Stop fucking shopping. Everybody ignores that shit because they're fucking imbeciles. You go out all week and you work for these white corporations. You are their employees. You help make them rich by providing your labor for them. At the end of the week, they give you cash. You take the cash that they gave you and you give it right back to them on the fucking weekends when you go and shop. You're stuck in this fucking cycle that you won't break. You're fucking sick or insane. Break the cycle. You work for them, you provide them with your labor, you help build them up as a corporation. They give you money in exchange, but the money is irrelevant because you go give it right back to them on the weekends. You don't keep it and use it to build up your own community, build up your own neighborhoods, none of that shit. You just go right back and give it right back to them. So basically, you're working for nothing. You're working for free. I can't even say you're working for free. You're working just to benefit them. You're just a fucking cow pulling a fucking trough through a field to help some farmer make money, to make a better life for them. You're cattle. You're nothing more than cattle. You work for something, they give you something in exchange, and you give it right back to them. And then you can repeat the cycle the next week over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You got to change that process. Stop shopping. Women, stop making these stupid videos online where you're dancing and you're talking about makeup and new clothes and all this stupid shit. Black women, we need you guys to be on the front line on this one and start to spread that message about not shopping. Convince your other sisters to stop shopping. Give them alternatives. Tell them instead of going to big chain stores, you can go to small mom and pop stops. You don't have to stop spending money completely. Obviously, that's stupid and that's not going to happen. What I mean by stop shopping is change the way you spend your money. Stop spending it in big corporations. Stop going out on the weekends and pumping your money into these corporations because you do not know who or what you're financing with that money. Those corporations take that money and they use it as bribes. They pay off politicians. They pay off regulatory agencies. They pay off police unions. They pay off the justice system, prosecutors, judges. They pay those people and they tell them, I'm giving you this money because I want you to act in this way while on the job. So when you look and you see, why are these police officers doing this? Why are they getting away with it? Why are prosecutors not going after them? Why are they creating all of these loopholes to help these people get away with this type of stuff? Why isn't the mayor or the governor or the president or any of these politicians doing anything to stop it? Or why are they doing things that are hurting our community? They're doing it because they're being told to do it by the people that you happily finance on the weekends and during the week. They're being told to do this. You have these sick, white, demonic, white supremacists out there who have access to all of this money that they have gained from all of the horrendous shit that has been done to black people over these centuries. Then they use that money. That money's passed down to their children, and they use that money to tell the government, I don't like niggers, and I like white people more, so we're going to do this to help my white brothers and sisters, and we're going to do this to hurt the black community and other communities that are not white. Not only that, but obviously they also go out and hurt white communities as well. But I'm talking about black people here. You have to make a change. Something's got to change. You got to do something. You can't just sit around complaining and whining, talking, singing, marching, clapping, stupid fucking irrelevant shit that doesn't benefit anyone. It just makes you feel good in the moment. You want to change, you got to pull your money. You have to change the way you shop. Stop going to corporations. Use your money in a different way. Go to small mom, even if it's a white owned business, if it's a small mom and pop shop, as long as it's not a big corporation, then you can spend your money there. Stop going to corporations. Change where you buy your clothes. Stop buying products from these big corporations that you don't need, like fucking makeup and hair products and things that are more than likely giving you cancer and shit. Stop buying that shit. Stop buying your children electronic toys and games and movies and music from these white-owned production companies and corporations. Pull that money. Buy the stuff that you need from smaller companies that are not linked to these big corporations. It's only until blacks as a collective, it doesn't even need to be all of us, it just needs to be a big number of us. It is only until we pull our money that the people that control our government and run our country will sit back and say, the niggers have stopped supporting us. They have stopped that money train. We got to do something to placate them. Once they say that, then you will get a platform to start to air your grievances and talk. Until then, you can complain all you want. They don't give a fuck. They hire black politicians who look like you, and they pay them and tell them, keep these niggas distracted and keep them confused so that I can stay in power. And the longer I stay in power, the more money I can give to you. So you're wasting your time by doing anything other than not shopping, anything other than pulling your money. That is the most important thing, unfortunately, on this planet is money. Take that away, and then you will get some kind of attention from the people that you need to actually deal with. So that's what you got to do. And I just made this story this video because I saw this shit, and it's just I keep seeing this stuff where white people are showing you. They're not even telling you. They're not even just saying it. They're showing you in their policies and in the things that they do on a daily basis that they hate black people. They don't like you. They never will. Not all white people are racist, obviously, but enough of them are bigoted and racist to cause a problem. And it's always going to happen this way. It's always going to continue if you don't make a change. You got to do something. Stop shopping. Don't ask people to share my videos or like or subscribe or click fucking bell icons. None of that shit. I don't ask for that. All that I ask is if you see this video and it makes sense, share that idea. Talk about it with people. Share the idea, the concept, and the message that if you stop shopping, then you will get some kind of change. Do something different. Change something. Stop shopping.